as an invited participant in the G20 processes. For Cairo, this is more than protocol. It's an opportunity to channel the African and the Arab priorities into the world's premier economic forum, from stabilizing the grain markets and lowering the import risks to unlocking the investment in resilient, climate-smart agriculture. The path from Cairo to Johannesburg runs through the consensus, and the work starts here. For the first time ever, the G20 meeting taking place outside of the G20 countries, and the destination is Egypt, as we have seen the coordination between Egypt and the G20 countries being strengthened under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the past decade. This is Ahmed Nader reporting for the Nile TV International.
Many thanks for our dear correspondent Ahmed Nader for the detailed comprehensive report. And the event took place for 3 days, from the 1st to the 3rd of September, and the final communique or the recommendations of the participants are going to be listed in the coming report. Right after this, we are going to be back with more.
From September 1st to 3rd, Egypt convened the G20 Food Security Task Force II under South Africa's G20 presidency, drawing delegates from G20 nations, invited countries, and major international organizations and financial institutions. Ambassador Raghi El-Itribi, Egypt's presidential representative to the G20, dubbed the meeting a historic milestone, reaffirming Cairo's growing influence and its commitment to elevating developing country priorities. Finance Minister Ahmed Kojak stressed Egypt's multifaceted efforts on food security, expanding agricultural land, boosting productivity, and providing vital subsidies, allocating roughly 165 billion Egyptian pound to feed over 60 million citizens. The humanitarian emergency in Gaza also took center stage, with Egyptian officials unveiling staggering numbers: over 5,408 trucks stranded, at least 340 deaths from malnutrition, and 600,000 people at risk of famine. Participants focused on crafting a draft ministerial statement on global food security, to be finalized in South Africa on the 19th of September, and then presented at the G20 summit in Johannesburg on the 22nd and 23rd of November. The meeting emphasized the need to address structural failures in global food systems, triggered by climate shocks, conflicts, and inequities, by reforming trade, improving water management, and enhancing technology transfer. A consensus emerged to keep discussions focused on development goals while avoiding divisive topics. This is Egypt's third consecutive and fifth overall participation in the G20 as a guest country, having previously joined summit meetings under China 2016, Japan 2019, India 2023, and Brazil 2024. Egypt's role expanded this year with the honor of hosting the first official G20 meeting outside member nations, a clear recognition of its regional weight. Ongoing efforts in multilateral cooperation and the representation of African and developing country concerns. For Egypt, hosting the G20 Food Security Task Force marked more than protocol. It was a powerful platform to spotlight urgent crises, from Gaza's humanitarian emergency to systematic food insecurity, and to advocate for reforming global systems. As the world eyes Johannesburg later this year, the outcomes from Cairo may very well shape commitments at the next G20 summit.
Welcome back, and to shed more light on the event, we are very much delighted to have with us live here in the studio our dear guest, Professor Mokhtar, Economic Projects and International Cooperation Consultant. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
I'm really glad to join your programs.
And let's start immediately with this very first question regarding the event itself. How do you see having the very first meeting of the G20 outside the territories of its member states?
This is show how much in Egypt consider and important to focus on the case related to food security and security of the foods, to get it in and to get it out of the members to be here in Egypt. And this is show how much the important of the food case related to what's happening in the area, in the Middle East and Africa. And this is respect how is Egypt was planning and was prepared for that, and have the conclusions and the idea and the eyes for what's going on, and to prove to all countries how is the importance of foods and the needs of foods, especially for Gaza and even for Africa.
And how do you see, sir, the timing of this gathering to take place here in Egypt with all the changes and challenges around us, whether it's the global economic crises, not only one crisis, the inflation, the interest rate hikes, the changed supply, energy, and above all, the famine in Gaza?
In different actions, what's going on, this is the visions of Egypt. Try to put the case on, and this is show also how is Egypt important for the peace for the world, and respecting to solve the situations which is going in Gaza immediately. It's time to solve it. The people is suffering. It will be written in the history what's going on, especially for the foods and what's going on from Israel. It show why, how and when, and as you mentioned before of the air, the time is becoming immediately to stop these things. This is proof that the Egypt case, care and case of the case, as is being from the first to the end time, respecting the peace, respecting the international law, respecting the UN process, and this is what everywhere that the UN you cannot allowed. I mean in the air directly, I mentioned to the UN, if this happening from Israel could happening from any country, what would gonna happen?
I don't think that there's going to be a very clear answer, because if there was an answer, we should have had answers for Qana, for Sabra and Shatila, for the massacre of Al-Khalil. It's Al-Khalil, by the way, not Hebron, and so many other massacres committed and crimes against humanity committed by Israel, and it went without any kind of punishment.
Especially the case of religion,
sir,
that them always what we learning from the UN and the status that children you cannot allow to go to the land. Just close these prisons, passing this bridge. Even the religion you cannot allow to go any mosque or any church anywhere. Israel do.
Anyway,
it's time. I mean, we believe it is time to stop this whole things.
This is my question, sir. How do you see having this connection between food security issue and using starvation as a tool, and unfortunately directed to civilians? I mean here, women, children, and minors.
Yes, it should be out of the case. But this is not doing that, because I believe, in reference to your questions, it's a matter of one coins. It's a part of one coins, the left and the back sides. That's what we are doing. This is but we mean Israel dream to kill and to have Israel dream become on, because this is the chance for them. Even Netanyahu know well, if this war stop immediately.
I mean, sir, let me put my question in other words, and I'm sorry for the interruption. How do you see the importance of having this link between the conflicts and food insecurity as raised as on top of the priorities or on top of the talks during this G20 summit which took place here in Egypt?
It's a human living. The food is being human, mean life for everybody. That's what's working in Israel to stop foods. Them people to kill themselves by themselves without no foods in. And we prove internationally about the gate of. We not ever allowed or stopping passing the trucks to go in Gaza. We are opening the first country that's give a Gaza and given to reference to the gate is Egypt. Thousand and thousand from trucks, from foods, from medicine needs, medical needs, and all
Baby
the
formula.
all the things.
Yeah.
And the water, all right. And who's stopping is in, not out.
Yeah.
This what happening in G20 is very important to prove the case. Egypt tried to using all the situations, all these international countries is in to prove and to put the case on the board. Come on, let the people's guns dying then, all right, and not solving of the case to approve or to open the gate to let Palestinians become here. This is not the solve of the case. That's mean if that mean of the case that we are trying to not put make the Palestine in, make Gaza out. And this is not.
Also, the meeting, sir, was very much concerned with the financial side of the coin, speaking about proposals about international commitments to secure food for the needy communities.
Yes.
And here I should speak about investments in food security and, of course, also on debt relief. And here I'm speaking about the countries, in particular in the African continent. How do you see this also as topping the agenda of talks or topping the priorities of the event?
The Minister Ahmed Kojak was there also speaking about the financial issue and financial file, and he mentioned about the two ways we are working in, whatever is Gaza and Africa, and what need of that, and how much Egypt is pushing and going in that files, and we need more to get in this thing solving, because Africa and Gaza is going to the very risky things dedicated to food.
Yeah.
People try to get in, nothing there. It's become nothing, especially in Gaza, and Africa is need a little bit financial thing related to food. We don't want to die into the people of the food. It was in the first of the life, not in 2025. This is not respecting. This is not what all the countries are speaking about. We are in a new century, not we're getting back to the old century. This is not being accepted. And Egypt tried to focus on this file, to know what's the need.
Whose responsibility is this, sir? Because the G20, we are speaking about the developed countries, the biggest economies, so there are trade restrictions, export restrictions, and there are even laws which should be adopted to make sure that hunger is not going to be a problem anymore, that famine is not going to be found here. Of course, I'm not going to speak only about Gaza, but all over the world, in Sudan, in South Sudan, in Myanmar, in Somalia, in all the countries which are suffering drought. How do you see the should be commitment by the developed countries to make sure that this is not going to happen?
That's why the G20 is needs or attend. That's why Egypt try to get it here in Egypt. For 3 days, Egypt tried to put the scenarios and need from the biggest country to solve, to cooperate more. All right, we don't say it's enough to say some words. It's now time for solving, to action, to active, to supporting this country. This country, maybe, I'm sorry for my mentions, is gonna destroy it related to just only food. It's a matter of food, and this is not accepted from the whole things. And the big country is speaking about life and peace and stability and wow, what we mention and hear from I don't want to mention any countries, but it's a matter to solve now. It's a matter, this is the case, this is the needs, this is the financial requirements. Egypt put all the solving on the table.
Since you mentioned that, sir, and since you mentioned the participation of His Excellency Minister Kojok, our Minister of Finance, he spoke about the Egyptian experience, along with the Ambassador Raghi Al-Tirbi, of course, the personal, the presidential personal envoy to the G20. Yes. They spoke about the Egyptian experience in expanding the agricultural land, cultivating more land, and also about Takaful and Karama as an initiative to make sure that the needy brackets are not going to face hunger. How do you see this experience to be introduced to the whole world, and in specific to such countries who are maybe suffering from the very same problems we have?
Egypt tried to put them experience in Takaful Karama to hold Africa, and also was respecting from UN what's happening and all countries what that. And they've tried to open that we are trying to cooperate with that related to what we achievement, our experience related to Takaful Karama. And of course I need to appreciate the effort of Ambassador Ragai in what he's doing, in his commitment, in his communication with these countries, and try to using our experience. This is the things. Egypt is working in things especially. What is the special is in that this is the case, this is the solving, this is the, what we say, the cost. And this is the solving of that. We don't mention only this is the problem, try to find the solutions, as several countries maybe could do that. And for matter of also for Gaza, we only from the first country that we have, since this war stop from tomorrow, what we gotta do? We have a construction plan. We have to relate Gaza back to life. But we need just to stop. We need just to cooperate. This is the message from G20. Egypt tried to passing. We try to cooperate again. This is the word is being should be stopping war abroad. Enough people dying for just only food. It's time for all organizations, all foundations abroad the world, try to cooperate. Please be commitment, be supporting. We don't want people die. People is diamond.
But sir, also there was a call by His Excellency Minister Kojak to engage the private sector more and more into such solutions, because without the inclusion of the private sector into investing more and more in the agricultural sector and in the food industry, nothing can be implemented on the ground, because governments cannot shoulder this responsibility on their own. Yes. If you agree with me on that.
Yes, of course. Any countries is suffering from food security should be need supporting. And this is our financial minister and even our ambassador Ragai is told the word. Come on, go with us. This government cannot working alone. They need support. And of course, and this is from my experience, as being any war, there is dedicating of that war. Whatever is not out of your country, you will be suffering from this country. As Bergad mentioned, several countries, several things in the life, we need each other to cooperate. We need each other. There is, especially in every country, there is a source from substance, from everything. You need this country. We don't want people die. It's not. I don't care. It's not in my matter. No, it's your matter.
Sure, but here we're, as you've kindly mentioned, we're talking about solutions, and we listened to the speech of His Excellency Ambassador Raghi or His Excellency Minister Kojak regarding the fund issues. But how do you see also technology transfer as another element which should be taken into consideration even more, or at least on equal foot? How do you see this also as a duty or a responsibility which should be shouldered by the developed countries and the international community?
Ambassador Raga has mentioned that, and mentioned also to using API, using the technology for the money transfer, for the loan, how to solve, how the gaining from that things. The financial issue also was being mentioned. How to using technology is very important, to using this technology, and the source of this country. What's the elements there? What's the needs? We can mention that Egypt was very prepared, this agenda for COP20 to be focused, to solve, and to get these things stopping security suffering abroad the world, reference to post area are in Gaza and even in Africa.
And sir, also, if you permit me to add to this, here we are talking about global diplomacy. Egypt is a very leading and pioneering country when it comes to global diplomacy, gathering delegations from all over the world to speak about very vital issues like food security and water scarcity, by the way. How do you see the important mechanisms which should be taken and followed, or at least suggested by such meetings? And here we are not talking only about the G20 members, but to the whole world. So the launching pad, it's from here.
The starting from here, from this commitment, this meeting, this attendance, to using these things to solving the story, to get these things solved, to get these things active. It's not a matter to some people attend, it's not a matter for just only meetings or a conference. It's a matter for solving. Especially you have the biggest country as in, I mean, the guys who had the key to solve. This is the biggest country could do. And Egypt care about this and focus to show, well, all the needs, all the risks, all the what's suffering, all what's happening, and just not only the word. It's a very file we can mention from A to Z, how to solve, how to passing, or at least give them a loan. It's a matter of time to let them stand them by themselves. But stopping not found foods, people were gonna die more.
Sir, how do you see this meeting which took place in Cairo to be a rehearsal, or let's say not only the launching pad, the ground on which the summit, which is going to take place with the G20 leaders in Johannesburg, they are going to meet in November with an expanded meeting, as South Africa occupies now the rotating presidency of the G20. How do you see the outcomes of this meeting, which took place in Cairo, as the foundation on which the G20 leaders are going to use or to build on in their coming gathering?
First of all, I will need to mention Egypt make the history, as usual. This is why using and creating in G20 to what's going to happen, and give all the solving organizations and foundations to have getting these things solving, and this is things activate before maybe Johannesburg conference. It's coming in November, and well done. All the case, all the files is in. Try to cooperate, try to just solve it. The file is very opening. Who will using an international organization and international foundation will help on creating these things, or be one of the supporting team who can mention that, and to fix these things. It's a matter of food. Nobody can stop living without food.
So, sir, finally,
source of life.
In your opinion, or after knowing about what was going on, the talks, the agenda, the participants, the number of delegations which came here to participate in this very important event, what realistically can the G20 countries introduce to the world to preserve food security, to maintain food security?
It could be solving the things by activate them policy and them procedures as them been mentioned in them visions and them mission, and try to get this all opinion wasn't mentioned in the conference, and to put it on an active side. Reference to cooperate with the biggest country abroad, or biggest organizations and or foundation on the world, and let these things, it's a matter of test for them. I can mention that. Solve, or to be or not to be. This need G20 for solving security food. This is the issue. This is your case. Now you got all the things.
And simply they can.
That's, I will mention in the international project what we done. There is a meeting agenda. In meeting agenda that says this is the item, this is the problem, date of solving, who responsible, who is the charged person, and the coming meeting, before this coming meeting should be solved.
But what about the word sustainability here? Who is responsible for the competitiveness what they are going to have in the investment markets, or the investment procedures to be taken on the ground for the agriculture and food industries, and who or which side should shoulder the responsibility of being sustainable, being resilient, and to implement on the ground what they agreed upon? It's not only ink on paper or protocols or MOUs. Who? Is it the countries? Is it the private sector? Is it the success? Which is
All
which?
of them. All of them are
All of
charged.
them.
All
So
of them are charged.
it's our, so let's cross our fingers that tomorrow is going to be a better day and we are not going to face hunger
It's a
or
challenge.
poverty anymore.
It's a challenge for G20,
Hmm?
and we will see what's coming days will, and will show the respecting from the biggest country. Are you really like the peace abroad the world? Do you really caring about food security about all the world? It's a matter of now of life. It's a matter of now. It's a matter now to show how this organization, these countries are working and taking care about them main points, or just only word. And I believe it could be coming days will show this well.
Let's wait and see. Well, we were very much delighted to have with us live here in the studio Professor Mokhtar, Economic Projects and International Cooperation Consultant. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And now I'm going to leave you with the most important economic events which took place in the past 7 days. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nurmeen Abdurrahman.
Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade, Hassan al-Khatib, met with Sudanese Minister of Minerals, Noor Ad-Daim Mohammed, and his delegation to explore ways to strengthen economic relations between Egypt and Sudan. The meeting also reviewed a range of issues of mutual interest. Al-Khatib reiterated Egypt's continued commitment to supporting Sudan's stability and economic development. He emphasized that Egypt's support aligns with its broader position of backing Sudan's efforts for peace and progress. The minister also highlighted Egypt's ongoing investments in infrastructure, noting that over the past decade, significant resources have been directed toward creating an attractive investment environment. The cabinet said Egypt will launch its national narrative for economic development, a comprehensive framework that will be put forward for public dialogue over the next 2 months. During a cabinet meeting, Minister of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation, Rania Al-Mashat, presented the main points of the narrative titled Policies Supporting Growth and Employment. She explained that the narrative includes 5 main chapters: macroeconomic stability, foreign direct investment, industrial development and foreign trade, labor market efficiency and flexibility, and regional planning for localizing economic development. It was prepared in coordination with various ministries and relevant authorities. According to the Ministry of Planning, Egypt has allocated 136.3 billion Egyptian pounds, $2.8 billion to the electricity and renewable energy sector in its 2025-2026 development plan, nearly double the 72.6 billion pounds set aside last year. The plan emphasizes energy diversification, expanding renewable power and strengthening the national grid to meet rising demand. Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade Hassan al-Khatib inaugurated the Egyptian-Bahraini Business Forum in Cairo today, reaffirming the two nations' commitment to deepening economic cooperation. Al-Khatib revealed that Bahraini investments in Egypt reached $450 million in 2024, spread across more than 237 companies in diverse sectors. Bilateral trade between the two countries stood at $35.27 million during the same year. According to CEO of the General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, GAFE, Hossam Hiba, Egypt is intensifying its efforts to attract foreign investment, a strategy that has placed the country 9th worldwide and 1st in Africa among the top destinations for foreign direct investment, FDI, with net inflows reaching $46.1 billion during the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Speaking at the Egypt-Bahraini Business Forum, Hiba highlighted Egypt's many competitive advantages for investors, including a workforce of more than 32 million people, a highly diversified economy, a strategic geographic location, competitive tax rates, robust infrastructure and trade agreements, with nearly 70 countries, giving Egyptian goods and services access to around 3 billion consumers worldwide. A new $8 million investment by Chinese company Xuan Feng has pushed total investments in the Qantara West Industrial Zone near Egypt's Nile Delta past the $1 billion milestone. The new ready-made garment factory is the latest in a series of international projects in the area, which is affiliated with the Suez Canal Economic Zone. The project will establish a ready-made garment factory on the 20,000 square meter plot following a contract signed between the Suez Canal Economic Zone, Chairman Walid Gamaluddin, and Xuan Feng owner Yu Jinhui.